Hello, my dear friends. Hello, my dear listeners. I hope you are doing best to serve your duties with utmost honesty and love. So, we are going to be successful with this hope that Almighty will lead us to the joyous path in serving our duties with utmost honesty and love, and we will meet Him at the end of our journey. So, with this good wish, let's proceed with the next chapter, a new beginning in the life of our Master Shri Ramkrishna Paramhansa Dev. So, let's proceed. The Holy Mother at Dakshineswar. The last that we saw of the Holy Mother was at Kamarpukur under the tutelage of Sri Ramakrishna. This holy association filled the pure-hearted girl with unspeakable delight. Referring to this joy, she said later on, I used to feel always as if a pitcher full of bliss were placed in my heart. The joy was ineffable. When a few months later Sri Ramakrishna returned to Dakshineswar, she went back to her father's home, the happiest girl in the whole world. As a result of this inward bliss, her character was completely transformed. She became more gentle, more thoughtful, and more unselfish, developing an unbounded love for all creatures. She was the very embodiment of kindness. Physical discomforts or unkind treatment were powerless to ruffle the serenity of her mind. She passed her days at Jairambati, ungrudgingly serving her relatives, though her heart was at Dakshineswar, at the feet of the Master. Much as she would have liked at times to see him and to be near him, she consoled herself with the thought that he would call her to his side at the right moment. With this conviction, Sarda Devi held herself in readiness. 4 years passed, and she was now a young woman of 18, poised as she was by reason of her inward bliss above the ordinary joys and sorrows of the world. Still, she was not deaf to the idle gossip of the people of her village about her saintly husband, whom they described as mad. To them, there was no other epithet applicable to a man who, regardless of all physical comfort, passed his entire time in chanting the name of the Lord. Some of her companions looked upon her with pity or scorn as the wife of a madman. Though she patiently bore these inflictions, her heart was lacerated, and she would think, is it true that he is insane? Is he no longer the man I knew at Kamarpukur? If indeed matters have come to such a pass, then I must not be separated from him any longer. I should be at his side to serve him to the best of my ability. After much thought, she decided to go to Dakshineswar to see for herself. An opportunity to do so soon presented itself. During the Dol Purnima festival, people from distant places come to bathe in the sacred waters of the Ganges. Some distant relatives of Sarda Devi resolved to go to Calcutta for this purpose. She begged leave to accompany them. The ladies thought it wise to speak about it to her father. He was quick enough to understand his daughter's real motive in going to Calcutta and arranged to accompany her himself. As there was no railway and a palanquin was too costly for them, there was no alternative but to travel the distance of 80 miles on foot. They set out on the appointed day and walked on and on, the beautiful scenery helping to relieve the tedium of the journey. For 2 or 3 days all went well. Then, to the mortification of Sarda Devi, she fell ill of a high fever, and it became imperative to interrupt the journey and to stop at an inn. But comfort came to her in a vision. She said afterwards, as I lay unconscious with I saw an exceptionally lovely young girl of dark complexion sitting beside me. She passed her cool and tender hands over my body, taking away most of the burning sensation. Where do you come from? I asked. From Dakshineswar, she replied. From Dakshineswar? I said in surprise. I long to go there to meet him and serve him. But this fever has upset everything, said the girl. You shall go to Dakshineswar when you get well and meet him. I have kept him there for your sake. I said, You are so kind. Who are you? Pray. I am your sister, she replied. I said, Ah, that's why you have come? After this conversation, I fell asleep. Next morning, Ramchandra found that his daughter was free from fever and the journey was resumed. After going a short distance, they came across a palanquin which they engaged and reached Dakshineswar at 9 o'clock at night, March 1872. So, what will happen next? We will come to know in the next episode. Till then, be happy, be jolly, and keep praying. Shubhamastu.